Guys, Dan Hendriksen here. Welcome back to the channel. We've got a real golf experience for you today on this video. Now, this week we've been at Minchin Hampton Golf Club playing on the Cherrington course, and in the first part that you would have seen is Lester and Paul both get themselves into a little bit of trouble in the thick rough. This time of the year, certainly in the UK, golf courses like to grow up their rough when the grass is growing really fast. And some players can get themselves into a proper little pickle with it. Now, I played in lots of prams over the years, and I've seen golfers going at shots with high expectation levels and then really coming up short when they actually go to hit the shot. So I brought Paul out here today at St Mellion, and we're going to share a shot with you that those guys went through and kind of talk about the positives and negatives of either going for the shot or laying up, and hopefully it might be able to help you better understand what you should be doing when you get yourself into a little bit of trouble on the golf course. Don't forget, if you like what you're seeing from this series, hit that subscribe button, and we will be sharing with you lots of different types of videos as we go through our course vlogs. But let's go meet up with Paul and share with you this shot. Get that out, Bernie.
That's beautiful. Right, I'm going to have a hack at that.
Let's have a quick look in there, shall we?
Oh yeah, I've got it.
Bernie, you are literally, if you come out of this with a wrist that's not broken,
54-degree wedge.
Everyone's going to be happy.
Oh, there he is. No, it's not going to
Let's not try and be a hero here, Bernie. All right?
Let's be a hero, Dan.
He's going in with a 2-iron.
Got it. Can't even see it.
You're further up. Keep going, just in there.
Oh yeah.
All right.
This ain't coming out, is it? I remember why I never qualified for the Open here now. Ain't coming out.
Well out.
Ow.
Well done. There's the ball, and there's Paul.
Hey.
Okay, I am in the bunda here for you. All right.
Thank you. Right.
So Paul hacking out absolutely like no shock. He's got to go over a bunker to a tucked pin. I say tucked, there's not a lot of wriggle room there. Coming out of thick rough. Surely you're just trying to get this around the green, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sit,
that's a great shot.
Sit.
How did you get it to come out so dead? So two slightly different scenarios in the first part. Hole one with Lester just chopping out, getting himself back out into play, and then obviously your shot that was on the second hole, which then you actually had a bit more of a go at it. Now Lester walked into that shot on the second hole with a 54-degree wedge, looked at it and went, that's not coming out of there. So talk us through those, I suppose, those two shots that you kind of were faced with there.
Yeah, I think Lester's lie and the length of rough was a lot more than mine. So his was a chop out and damage limitation situation. Mine was a better lie, I'd say. It was still thick rough, but it was something I was willing to take the risk of playing the shot onto the green. I think also because we're in a skins game as well, I was kind of forced into that position as well. So
Lester and I were both in there with putting for birdie, so there was no point in you not having a go for it.
But I think I would have taken that shot on anyway, and if it was a tournament as well. Because
well, your skill level is at a high level, Paul. You know, so even if you go in the bunker or just off the edge of the green or left with a shot over the bunker, I mean, you'd pretty much bet on yourself to at least give yourself a very good chance of getting up and down. What would you be saying to players in that situation who weren't necessarily in your situation, who weren't necessarily good bunker players and almost like fear the bunkers? Because there's a lot of players, if you think about the prams that we play in, that guys out there, they struggle with bunkers, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got to know your own limitations. So if you have got a problem with playing out of bunkers or certain things around the green you don't like to leave yourself, then I think you need to play to a position and damage limitate, I think, as much as possible and hit it out onto the fairway or to the front of the green or something, and don't get too ambitious.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're out here at St Mellion and we've got 3 different scenarios. Talk us through what you've kind of set up for us here today, Paul.
So we've got a 135 yard shot from here.
Yeah.
We got a position where I think it's worth a go. I think this shot here should come out okay. It's in a bit of rough, but I think that's a reasonable to expect that to come out, you know, as a good shot. This one here, the second ball, it's one of those iffy ones.
Yeah.
It's an iffy lie where it's obviously not as good as the first lie, but it's certainly a lot more difficult to get that one out. And then we've got a lie over here where it's in a lot thicker rough, and it's a much more difficult shot. So we're going to kind of assess the 3 different scenarios and kind of figure out what we should and shouldn't do from these positions.
So what would we do? I mean, what's the situation with all 3 lies then?
I mean, if it was me, I would take this one on.
So the first one is closest
definite,
to that position there, yeah.
It's a definite.
It's sat up okay.
Yeah, definite go for it. The second one, it's a 50-50 for me. I mean, we've got a very tough shot in front of us here, so onto a small green. So I think it would depend on how you're feeling on the day almost as to whether you take that on or not.
Yep.
This one is a definite chop out into the fairway for me and damage limitate, because there's no way you could, you know, get that onto the green from here and produce a good shot. So
let's take the middle one, because this is the one that is on the edge here. Now we've got 135 yards into this hole, so you're going into this hole with a pretty reasonably lofted club for your speed.
Yes.
Now there's going to be players out there that 135 yards is still going to be a 6-iron or even a 5-iron.
Yeah.
Now, what are you saying to those players that are in this situation?
I'm saying that middle lie, anything more than a 9-iron, I wouldn't be definitely taking on that shot.
Okay.
So if this was a slightly longer shot, I wouldn't be taking it on.
No.
I've got half a chance with a 9-iron if I hit it hard, but I think if I was faced with that needing a 6-iron, I would just hack out and then try and hit my next shot in close would be the theory.
So I just want to explain a little bit about what Paul was kind of saying there with regards to not hitting more than, let's say, a 9-iron out of that situation. And the problem you have is that as soon as you take loft off the club, you're now got a situation where you've got a lot of the club face that's going to get itself caught up with the grass. If you lean this club back, or if you add loft to a club, you're going to start to go in with a little bit more of a leading edge there. So if you think about if you were going to chop down grass as you come through, then obviously you would try and get that leading edge as flat as you possibly could to try and chop through the grass. Now, as soon as you start to add or put loft onto the club as such here, you're getting a lot of club face in and amongst the grass, which is what gets caught up, and that's what, as you come into impact, that's what's going to slow the face down. It's going to slow everything down as you start to come in. That club is going to wrap up in and amongst the grass, and that's where you get that shot that comes out really flat and has got no ball speed onto it at all. So as soon as you go above that 9-iron, should we say, when you're moving into 8-irons, 7-irons, 6-irons, that's where you're going to start to really struggle to get the speed into the shot and get the ball propelled forward to get to your target. So first shot up is the one set up quite nicely. It's almost like a flyer lie, isn't it, in some ways?
Could be. It's one of those that could come out hot or it could come out a little bit dead. You're never too sure with those.
Now the difficulty you've got here with this particular shot is you've got a little stream in front of you, haven't you? So
yeah, you might
difficult.
want to have a zoom in and have a look.
Yeah, we'll have a little look at that.
It's you've got to carry it all the way to the green on the shot, so it's a tough shot.
Okay, so what are you going to do differently? Well, how are you going to set up to play this shot, Paul? Are you going to do anything different than you would in a normal swing, or?
Maybe put it further back in my stance a little bit, which is going to create more of a descending angle of attack. Okay. So you're going to get less grass behind the ball and the club face.
Yeah.
So I have got, it's a little bit of ball above my feet, so it's going to come out a little bit left as well. So I'm going to aim a bit further right with that, just to compensate for that. But other than that, everything else is just going to be just got to make sure you hit it hard. Because if you hit it soft out of this grass, because it's so thick, it's just going to snag the club. So you've got to really
you need a bit of
hard.
Speed with it.
A bit of speed, yeah.
Okay, let's see the shot then. So very good shot in there. Next shot then. So we're going to play this in almost like 2 scenarios, aren't we?
Yeah, I think I would take it on.
Yeah.
Kind of play with quite a bit of risk sometimes. So I would like to take this one on, but it is going to be a bit debatable how that's going to come out.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to come out so well from there, but you never know, you might get a little jumper from there. So this is where maybe if we were in that skins game, me and Lester on the green, you're going for it.
100%.
Medal play? You got
it depends, doesn't it? I think it depends on how you're feeling on the day,
how you play it, and where you are.
Yeah, where you are, and if you're having a good day, then you might want to just
lay it up,
ease back a bit. But if you're having a day where it's not really happening and you need to make something happen, then
or you're going for a win or something like that, or you're trying to get your handicap down or whatever the situation is, then you would take it on. So okay, so let's have a go then. Let's are you going to do anything different in this situation though, Paul?
Just get steeper, really.
So again, ball position back in the stance.
Probably going to go back a little bit more, and I'm just going to hit down harder on it as much as I can. It's going to be tough to get this one out.
Okay. There's your dead end. Straight in there. So
just came out dead.
Yeah, well, it come out with no spin.
Yeah.
So it kind of dipped, didn't it, as it went. You could see the flight on it. It tried to get going. It tried to keep itself in the air, but because it didn't have enough spin, didn't have enough ball speed, it came out dead, and then you ended up in the worst position, which is in the water.
And I think that shot would be fine if it was just fairway in front of the green. But because there's a stream just short, it's probably not the right shot to take on.
Absolutely.
But if it's just fairway in front, then it's worth the risk. Definitely.
Okay, so now set up that shot again for us, Paul.
Yeah.
And then put yourself into a position. You know, do what you would then do on the golf course.
Well, I think if you were going to lay up. You probably, from this position, there's no real point in trying to get it too close to the green here. Yeah. Because you want to get a little bit of spin on the shot. So, you just want to try and hack it out with a lob wedge. Yeah. Don't take any risks, and then just leave yourself a nice pitch into the green. Yeah, okay. But try not to get yourself too close to the green, is that what you're saying? And you don't want it coming out hot and going into the stream either. So you want to make sure you lay up properly with this one.
Pins on the front of the green, stream right in front. So you're trying to get yourself into a position where you can play it almost behind the pin. Okay, good, yeah, just ran it up there. Yeah, perfect. Probably left yourself about 50-60 yards into the green, so that's pretty good. Yeah. So what did you do differently in that situation again there? Did you just put it back in your stance with this lob wedge?
Yeah, and you can feel that. I can tell the difference between hitting those two shots. The extra bit of loft, it makes a massive difference to how these shots come out. Yeah. Trying to hit it, even though 9-iron's got a lot of loft on it, it's still not enough for that sort of shot.
So that cutting, what I was explaining about, you can feel the difference as that club wraps into the grass. Definitely. Or with that club in your hand, you can feel it almost chopping through the grass, can't you? Yeah. Definitely. Right, third scenario then, Paul.
Yeah, and this is kind of going back to what we just did there with that second chop out, and it just is this rough here is so thick that you don't want to be taking any risks with this. No. Not at all. So I think, and even if it was fairway just short, I still don't think you want to be taking it on, because I think you could easily leave it in this rough if you took a 9-iron or an 8-iron.
And I mean, this shot here is literally the same. I would say is almost identical to what Lester had on that first hole, where he went in with a 54-degree wedge, and even that he felt was not the right club, and he just tried. I mean, he only moved it 5-6 yards, didn't he? He only got it 5-6 yards up in the rough.
Exactly.
He just wanted to get it away from this thick stuff, didn't he?
And you always want, if you're in this thick stuff, you want to make sure you get it out. So just go for your most lofted. Don't take a chance of a wedge or a 9 or a gap wedge or something. Just get your lob wedge out, get it in the back of the ball, and just get it out.
So your most lofted club that you've got in the bag, ball position back in the stance,
and hit it hard.
And chop down hard into it. Make sure you get it out, back in play. Good, very good. Yeah, really, really good. But
that's all you can do with
that's all you can do. Take your punishment. You've got yourself into a pickle from the beginning. Take your punishment, get it back into position.
Definitely.
So there you have a few different scenarios that you might be faced with on the golf course, and certainly Paul and Lester have been faced with those situations when we were up at Minchinhampton. I think the key there from what Paul's saying is assess the situation, assess the shot that's in front of you. Don't take risks when you don't need to take risks. Get yourself back into position and then give yourself a chance to get up and down from that position there. However, if you're in a position where you don't have a stream, you can run that ball up from there, then again, assess that situation, chase it up as close as you can to the green. But point number one, make sure you take enough loft and get yourself back into play. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel and you like what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button, and we'll look forward to seeing you again very soon.